Home staging. Claire and I stood in the middle of the storage unit, as Claire kept calling it. I'm not prone to phobias, but believe me, it's damn near impossible not to feel claustrophobic when you're surrounded by endless rows of precariously stacked piles of heavy objects, some of them looking alarmingly sharp, most of them looking as if they may tumble down any second. Packed to the brim. You've guessed it, this was no ordinary storage unit. Not something built to harbor a couple of forgotten moving boxes and great-grandma's favorite rocking chair. This was an industrial-size affair, the floor about 10,000 square feet, the ceiling easily 15 feet high. The biggest items stacked in here, as far as I could see, were a sofa comfortably seating a football team, reserve players included, a fossil collection in glass showcases that may or may not have once been the highlight of a museum exhibition, and something I can best describe as a moderate-size harvester. Plus anything and everything imaginable in any type of household, from your run-of-the-mill 17th century French Sun King's castle to a trailer park meth lab. Most of these piles seemed to defy gravity. Some reached up to the ceiling, packed so densely they seemed to be squeezed in here by force, or maybe the ceiling had been lowered, clamping down on them. A sight to behold, no doubt. Still, what truly overwhelmed me was the stench. Foul. Aggressive. A combination of decay and something I can, bizarrely, best describe as frenzy. When Claire had opened the heavy metal shutter door to this place, it had been little more than a slight whiff. Then ever increasing in strength the further we ventured inside. Where I was standing now, the stink was oppressive. Maybe an old bear was hibernating in here somewhere. Or rather, an old bear had been hibernating in here many years ago, but sadly hadn't made it to the next spring. And nobody had found him yet. So what was this place? What's the explanation for this jam-packed maze and the disgusting smell accompanying it? Real estate storage. Have I mentioned Claire's a realtor? Well, she is, and a very successful one at that. Before I tell you how this adventure took an ugly turn, let me mention that Claire had warned me, asking me whether I had a sensitive stomach, telling me it might be best to skip our visit. Whereupon I had told her it wouldn't be a problem. I even remember chuckling knowingly. As a coroner, I explained to her, I was used to stenches no storage unit could equal, let alone surpass. Well, I was wrong, and not just about the stenches. Back to the story. Apparently, real estate storage is a thing. When Claire first mentioned it, that didn't exactly pique my interest. I imagined used yard signs with "for sale" printed on them next to a photo of Claire's friendly, well-made-up face. A couple of boxes with old flyers maybe. What more could there be? So when she said, with that telling little smile of hers, that it was nothing like that, nothing at all, I was hooked. In my defense, I've always been a curious person. In hindsight, that was probably my biggest mistake. That's the thing about hindsight, though, as a rule, it comes too late. But what about the storage unit? What's the explanation for the size of it, for this breathtaking, chaotic, for lack of a better word, collection? Real estate home staging. Any ideas what that entails? You do? You're well ahead of me then. Little did I know you cannot expect to sell your house for a decent price anymore, unless you ruthlessly declutter it first. Sure, I understood the general idea. For a showing, avoid smelly socks on the bedroom floor and moldy pizza boxes in your teenage son's room, or any other room, for that matter. Maybe even declutter your wardrobe and your kitchen cupboards. After all, you never know whether a potential buyer might be brazen enough to open them. What I hadn't realized was that it didn't end there. Before your realtor sticks a "for sale" sign into your front yard, you're expected to do the following. Scrub every surface until there's nothing left to scrub, outside surfaces, inside surfaces. Everything. Everywhere. Depersonalize. Your favorite holiday snaps? Those cherished portraits of your grandchildren? Photos of beloved pets, who've trooped over the Rainbow Bridge long ago? Get rid. Any particular aromas, good or bad, scented plants and perfumes included? Get rid. Mismatched pieces of furniture holding so many dear memories? Get rid. That collection of glass budgerigars made from special Czech crystal you inherited from Aunt Marcia? Well, you get the picture. The reason is simple, as Claire explained to me, the family who you hope will buy your old place, preferably well above asking price, has to envision themselves living there. Envision themselves. Not envision you. So neutral is key. Excellent real estate homestaging, I've learned, goes even further. Not only will Claire take all your unwanted, sale-impeding clutter off your hands, she will also supply you with wonderfully stylish, perfectly neutral design objects. Anything that upgrades your simple family home to a professional interior design showroom. And where does all the unwanted clutter go? Exactly. Right now, I was standing in the middle of one of those declutter storage units. Yes, there were more. 6 in total. This was the biggest and the most impressive, though, Claire had assured me. There's one more thing you should know, not only had Claire been an amazingly successful realtor for decades, she was also a hoarder. Which is why none of the stuff in here, while meant to be stored only temporarily, got thrown out or auctioned off, when the owners didn't come back to collect it. Everything stayed. Everything. So there you have it. The explanation. And after adjusting to the sight of this vast, bizarre collection, I thought nothing in here could surprise me anymore. That was my second mistake. Or maybe it was my third. I've lost count. I stared at the bloody knife and the severed hand, both sticking out of a pile of what looked like theater props and costumes for a period piece, Henry VIII maybe. I remember thinking Claire had probably seen it as well, assuming the hand was a theater prop. An understandable mistake. I'd be a useless coroner, though, if I couldn't spot the difference between a prop and the real thing. Claire? I called, softly. I couldn't see her anymore and turned around, slowly, looking for her, trying my best not to touch anything, neither the knife nor the hand nor anything else. In my mind, at that point, the biggest